I wanted to make a video showing you guys how I cover my cakes in fondant step by step. For this particular order, the customer requested a marble fondant effect. So I thought it would be really cool not only to show you guys how I cover my cakes in fondant, but also using this marble technique or method. So you're kind of getting two tutorials in one. So I'm sure there's different ways to get this effect, but the way that I get my fondant to look like marble, first I get my colors ready. So this particular customer wanted 2 different shades of blue and then mixed in with some white. So I roll out each color about the same size, it doesn't have to be exact. And then you just roll them together. I fold it over and then roll them together again. Now you don't want to do this too much because then you're just going to get one color in the end. Kind of like when you're mixing 2 different color Play-Dohs together, eventually you're just going to get one solid color. Then I roll out that piece of fondant and then I grab my cake. And I did crumb coat this cake and do a light frost. You definitely want to have that sharp edge on your buttercream when you're going to cover in fondant. Once the cake is covered, I immediately grab some scissors and I cut off all the extra fondant that's hanging over the edge. And the reason why you want to do this right away is because all of the weight of that extra hanging fondant can definitely tear it. You don't have to cut it perfect in any way, shape, or form. I just don't want all of that weight hanging off. So once that's done, I use my tool to smooth it out on the top. And this next part is where I struggled most working with fondant. I always wanted to go straight for that white smoothing tool on the sides, but actually that's not the case. Using my hands works way better. Starting at the top of the cake, with one of your hands, you're kind of going to smooth over the sides of the fondant to stick it onto that buttercream. At the same time, your other hand is going to be just gently pulling the fondant out. And the reason why you're going to want to pull that out at the same time that you're smoothing it down is because if you notice, the fondant is kind of like wrinkled, almost like a dress or a skirt. This is definitely a trust the process moment because you feel like it's not working. Just keep doing it all the way till you get to the bottom and eventually it's going to come out smooth. Once the fondant is pretty much stuck from top to bottom onto that buttercream, you can now use your smoothing tool to go around all of the sides of the cake. And then I get my sharpest knife and then I go in and cut all of the extra pieces. Now you don't want to start cutting too close to the cake, so I cut very small pieces at a time. And that's it. There you have a fondant covered cake. Now this customer also requested some silver leaf be put on the cake as well. And I do have the link for this in my bio. This brand is really good and they have the imitation silver leaf, they have imitation gold leaf, and they also have the genuine 24 karat gold leaf. And these are all edible. So these are really, really thin sheets and they could be tricky to work with. So I definitely use brushes. This one I'm using my cake tweezer to kind of place it on because once it touches your hands, it could definitely just get stuck. And this customer is placing her own custom topper and I hope this helps.